I just kind of turned it on, let it go. We are here going to be having a very interesting discussion today about everything and everything that is reality, and a lot more than that. But yeah, I guess just to kind of put everything into perspective so people understand where you came from, give people a little bit of information about you, where you came from, and kind of how you came to be the person you are right now.
I've lived in New Orleans my whole life, moved around for some, work and stuff, did the whole, what we were all taught to do.
Yeah.
Right? The escalator, achieve this and achieve that and achieve that. And that was really just drilled into me for a long time. So this is how relationships should be, or any relationship should be. This is how romantic relationship should be. This is how work should be. Don't leave a job that you hate just because, even though you hate it and it's killing you, just because it's stable.
Right.
Right. And, so all those things combined, that's just I've spent the better part of 40 years just doing it wrong and reaching
Doing what wrong?
Life.
Okay.
My understanding of our experience was not correct.
Of whatever our human experience is.
Right.
Whatever.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I've been on this path, sort of. Let's go back. Okay. Danny, we've known each other for a minute, so you know me. Keep me on track. You're good.
Yeah, I'll keep you on track.
2014, my wife and I divorced.
Okay. Remember that?
We're still friends.
Yep.
So I was working for Whole Foods at the time. I'd been working IT with them for years. They were opening up a new store in Lafayette, and friends of mine there said, "Hey, get out of town for a minute.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get out of town. This, that, and the other." I was like, cool. I got there, and right around that time, just being in Lafayette, trying to process what I was going through, right? And again, just to tag on, doing the whole, what did I do wrong?
Yep.
How did I do? I thought I was doing everything correctly. And I ended up, we've talked about this briefly, big comedy fan, right? Big fan of the Pete Holmes podcast and everything he does. He's one of my favorites. At that same time, he had not fallen into, but started learning and reading and talking about on his podcast, Ram Dass, Maharaji, the crew of people in the 60s, the Get on the Bus crew that went to India, bringing back these ideas and stuff like that. But his story, I know you're a fan, his story felt similar to mine because, he did the thing and he was doing the thing. And, I got the wife and the thing, and then his wife left him, and now he's like, what do I do? And so we sort of had he was sort of my Sherpa,
okay.
From a distance. We don't know each other personally or anything like that. So started reading and getting more into Ram Dass and this, that, and the other. Reading his stuff, meditating. 10 years ago, my meditation practice is still here. That's the thing overall. That's, if you meet a dentist or a dental hygienist, they're like, please floss.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't do anything else, floss.
Yes.
I feel that way about meditation in your brain. Like, you're not getting anywhere. You're not clearing your mind. Your mind is the loudest when you meditate, and that's when you sit. And every time you get distracted and come back to your breathing, you're doing a rep. It's a rep for your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so started that then, That is when I started to really start to think, growing up in New Orleans, Catholic education from 5 years old, in a not very practicing family. That is when I started to realize that there's more to this. There's something else.
Right.
And I spent a number of years trying to get there or try to figure out what it was. There were definitely moments when I feel like the universe or, whatever was going like, yep, you're there. That's good. And then something would always pull me back to reality.
Yeah.
Something would always pull me back to lack. Worrying about bills is a feeling of lack.
Scarcity.
Food insecurity. Again, that's a lack of abundance, right? I grew up food insecure from time to time. As a child, I don't blame anybody. I'm not blaming a single mom, just me. I'm not blaming anybody for that. Shit's hard.
Yeah.
Shit's hard now.
Absolutely.
Shit's hard then. We don't need to get into capitalism, but anyway, there's only so much. Anyway.
Well, isn't it funny how, because I went to Rummel for high school, and so I was, we had a religion class where religion's beat into my brain, grew up Baptist, but it's funny how growing up in those programmable environments led us to want to know more, because we know that this might kind of be bullshit.
Yeah. And, oh man. The Bible's been interpreted wrong for a long time. Everything that I'm leading up to that you're waiting for me to get to, it's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interpreted crazy.
I mean, I don't even know how many times the Bible's been retranslated, right?
Do you know the Thomas Jefferson Bible? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it. Mm-hmm.
It's Thomas Jefferson took I want to say it's the King James Bible. Note, I am not a expert on anything I'm going to talk about today.
Yes, I think anyone who's seen any of this knows that no one here is all
experience. This is just my personal experiences. Therapy. Everybody should be in therapy. If you say you don't need to be in therapy, you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
No offense. If you say you don't have 10 minutes to meditate a day, you need to meditate for an hour. Like, that's just, these are things.
That's right.
I totally agree with you with that. We were taught this is how it's to be.
Right.
Based on what I believe now is a incorrect interpretation. I have ADHD, so keep me on track. I love you, buddy. Thomas Jefferson took, I believe it was the King James Bible at the time, and throughout the Old Testament, cut out any mention of miracles, any of that shit, and he just took the things that Jesus said, like the things that are in the Bible that came out of his mouth. The book that was written 50 years after he died by people that weren't there. At least 50, I don't know.
Right.
And put those into a book. So it's no stories about him, no Old Testament, no miracles, no revelations, none of that.
Just his speech.
Just the speech, right? Like the right speech, the same thing the Buddha practiced and all Buddhists practice, the right speech. It's the size of like a 4x6 card. And it's like 100 pages, and that's it.
Okay.
It's nothing. It's this big of the stuff that Jesus said, right? It's this fucking big. Yet that's the book. Everybody uses the other shit. So they're like, oh, the gays are bad. It's like it says don't eat shrimp like 18 times. We're in Louisiana. Shut up.
Right.
Right. So backtracking, growing up in that environment, being taught these things, being forced to take religion. I remember Jesuit, right? You said Roma went to Jesuit.
Yep.
It was a different religion class like every semester. We took 2 religion classes a year, whatever the topic may be. I forget what class it was, but the teacher was going over how the Pope is infallible.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to me. He raises his hand, buddy Sean. That's all I get. That's all you get. He raises his hand and go, didn't the Pope once say the world was flat? Because the idea of the Pope is infallible because he speaks for God.
Right.
The Pope at some point said the world was flat.
Because there was no evidence to prove otherwise.
Right. And teacher got flustered, said, read your books, and left the room for a minute. And I was like, all right, got it. That was just another dink in the, I'm like, okay, something's different.
Right.
Right. And that was the thing. I grew up Catholic school, Catholic family. My maternal grandparents, the maternal side, raised me. That's a whole nother podcast. Dad's side's great. Met them way later in life, sort of thing. But my maternal grandmother, was from a Jewish family in Slidell area back in the 1920s. My grandfather is from an uber Catholic family, like Bayou Liberty area.
Okay.
they ran away and got married. It didn't hit me that they did that until years later. But I was raised in a Jewish Catholic K-Jew, my friends call it, like a Cajun Jew kind of family.
Interesting.
So the best example of love I've ever, my grandparents. That's because when I say love, I Ram Dass says it really well. When I say I love you and you say you love me, I'm not saying I love you in order to get that response.
Right.
When I say I love you, I'm saying you are a vehicle which brings me to a place where I am love. Those were my grandparents. So my grandmother never did, we never got any like Jewish teaching.
Yeah.
But throughout the family, that Catholic, Jewish, the guilt was, oh God, the guilt was, dude.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, it was only, they never weaponized it, but like our parents' generation of the family, they're like, your grandparents are going to be disappointed. And you go see your grandparents, they're like, we're not disappointed. Here's $1,000. Right. I'm like, oh, thanks. We all have these experiences. We all have the things that make us who we are.
Right.
Right. And those are our experiences. I would not change anything in my past to not be where I am today.
Right.
I wouldn't change a single thing.
Right. Everything led you to here.
I've been living paycheck to paycheck my entire life.
Yeah.
I was elder millennial, so student loan debt's just like, I'm just going to die with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like 42, so 43 next month. Like, like first real, like, go to college, and then you go look for a job. I'm like, oh, there are no jobs. Oh, shit. There's not jobs, right? Like, because I didn't do school traditionally. Like, I started working. My mother had total knee replacement in 2001, right when I graduated.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to take a semester off, first semester, and just stay home.
Yeah.
In case you need anything. Because this was before it is now. This was still when they were like, cut, remove, new hole, everything. Now it's like, I feel like it's endoscopic now.
It almost is. I mean, the incisions aren't as big and the recovery time's not as long.
Yeah, this was still, they removed her knee.
Wow.
Because I hit her with the car when I was 8.
Oh, you asshole.
It's actually a pretty funny story. And I remember exactly when it was the day after my birthday because it snowed. It was like one of those snow days when we were kids.
Yeah.
We just had an old like Volkswagen Rabbit at the time. And the terminals would pop off the battery. Sometimes, and my mom would go around the front. My uncle taught her to just go, oh, the terminals are just loose. Pop it open, tap them down, turn the key.
Starts.
We did it 1,000 times. Like, it's not a thing it's just a thing we did.
Right.
Sometimes my mom would get in the car and she'd go, all right. And she'd go around the front and she'd go, turn the key. And we'd leave.
It was normal.
She left it in gear because it was a stick this time. So when I turned the key, it lurched forward. Yeah, her kneecap was like up here and over here and shattered.
Ow.
She got up and walked inside. I didn't realize till years later. I was like, you got up and fucking walked inside.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ.
Well, she's been dealing with being a single mother. That was cakewalk to her.
I know, right? Especially with me. Especially with me who just didn't understand shit. And, not diagnosed. I'm ADHD, all that stuff, not until I was 30.
Yeah.
But years later, when I started doing this internal work, got the divorce, started
Working
really
on
looking
yourself,
inside,
yeah.
that this stuff started to fall away. So let me go back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever told you this.
Mm-mm.
So I'm in Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was reading Ram Dass's background on Ram Dass, real quick, so people who don't know.
Go ahead.
Just to give you a quick, who is this guy? You've probably heard the name. If you heard the phrase "be here now," it's Ram Dass. If you do yoga in America, it's Ram Dass brought that idea in a book back in the late 60s, early 70s, like Ram Dass.
So he was the pioneer for actual yoga here.
Sort of. He wasn't a yoga instructor, but when he came back, his first trip from India, when he came back, he documented yoga positions and stuff.
Okay.
Because the original intent from yoga, I don't know if you know this. This is back to what I was harping on earlier. The original intention of yoga is to stretch and get your body ready so you can sit for hours and meditate.
Okay, I did not know that.
That's why. And it becomes, it's its own meditation practice. Yeah. Anything where you're focusing and blocking stuff out, like, is good for your brain.
I feel like it's few and far between people that practice both meditation and yoga. It's almost like they feel like they get their meditation from yoga so that they
a lot of people do that. I have a really good old friend in town. They and their partner have yoga studio here every Wednesday at the Peristyle Community Yoga.
Yeah.
6:00 on Wednesday. Go see Lee. But Lee is a good example of someone who does both.
Okay.
Right. I went to a meditation seminar they were doing. And I remember at one point, I can't remember what the question was, but in between, teachings, they brought up something about Ram Dass. And they were like, Jared, what does he say here? Is that what he says? And I go, yeah, that's what like.
You've read about him. You know about him.
I know Ram Dass, yes. So Ram Dass, original birth name, Richard Alpert. PhD in psychology? Psychiatry? Psychology.
Okay.
Right. At Harvard, back in the 60s. We all know the name Tim Leary.
Yep.
Harvard acid tests. Gets kicked out of Harvard, fired from Harvard. Tune in, turn on, drop out, whatever. He led that counterculture movement. Richard Alpert was his partner in the acid tests. He was the other professor with Tim Leary that got fired for these tests they were doing off campus with students and faculty.
Yeah.
And they both got fired. Again, I haven't read the Ram Dass history in a minute. It's just one of those stories I know, right, at this point. It's all in Be Here Now. Be Here Now is the book, but I wouldn't recommend Be Here Now for someone who has not read any of his other stuff before, because Be Here Now is deep, because it's his first book right after he meets Neem Karoli Baba Maharaji, and he comes back to America. He wrote a book. The beginning of it is great. It's his history and it's his background. Then it gets like, okay, you wrote these parts. A lot of drawings. Yeah. The brown pages, we call it. It's a section of brown pages. That's just his drawings and symbols and stuff from India, and ideas and meditations. It's a great book, but
not for a beginner.
Not for a beginner. That was my problem. I actually had the book before I got to Lafayette and really jumped into it, rather.
Didn't make a lot of sense to you, probably.
Yeah, it was fun to read, and I was like, that's cool, but before Ram Dass left this plane, this physical plane, hold on. I'm doing the thing. Let's go back.
Okay.
So Harvard acid tests.
Yes, that's where
you can edit out me being ridiculous.
It doesn't matter.
But it's me. This is me. I'm not ashamed of it. They get fired. Somehow they go to India, the two of them.
Okay.
Because they hear about this guy. They get to India, Nayantal. I forget what airport you're flying to, but Nayantal. They get to this ashram, right? In ashrams, there's always people around. There's people that run it. One of the main things
what is an ashram?
An ashram is sort of a spiritual community, almost.
Okay.
Is the way I'd like to describe it.
Okay.
But one of the main things this one in particular does is they fed people. You can just show up and they give you food.
Okay. Kind of like is like Hare Krishna kind of thing? Like
sort of. Both Hindu.
Okay.
That's one of the things I love about Hinduism. It's like, oh, I'm Hindu. It's like, yeah, but like, who's your God? Who does your family pray to? Like, because it's not all the same.
No.
It's like 1,000. I don't know enough about it, but I know enough that I'm like, yeah, like Hare Krishnas are Krishna. Ram Dass, Neem Karoli Baba, they were Hanuman, the monkey god who serves Ram, who is God. Ram is God.
Okay.
They go to India. Fast forward, they get there. The guy they find is a little old, fat Indian guy wrapped in a blanket, just sitting there, like on a
little pedestal.
Little, like, it's a tiny stage. I know there's an appropriate name for it, but everyone sat on the floor, and he was just raised up just enough so he could see everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
And people would come and just sit around him and just sit there, and he would talk to people, this, that, and the other, and he just kind of waited and sat there and just were in his presence. And at the time, Richard Alpert sat in his presence and was like, it feels different, right? So like a day goes by, and they leave and they come back. I think it's like a couple days before they're acknowledged.
Okay.
Right? He has a translator. Maharaji has a translator. Didi. He just recently left this plane as well. Good soul. I say that to say they're communicating through a translator. Ram Dass gets called on, essentially. He would just throw things at people, just throw food at people. Like, that was his thing. And he says, I hear you brought the medicine. And Ram Dass said, in his mind, he's like, I did bring the medicine. This is in Be Here Now.
Yeah.
I did bring the medicine. The medicine was the acid from the Harvard acid experiments. And they were dosed out, I think he said 200 micrograms.
Oh, wow.
So 2 to 4 paper hits, if any of us know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just read about it. But he gives him one. 200 micrograms. Gives him one. Takes it. Sits there. Goes on. Not continuing conversation. A little while later, asks him for another. Okay. gives him another one. This goes on a couple times. I need to actually go pull it up because it's been a while and see how many times he actually dosed this old, elderly Indian man.
Who referred to it as medicine.
Who referred to it as the medicine. They hadn't spoken before.
Mm-hmm. He just knew.
Yes. The only people that knew what was going was Tim Leary was with him. Right? At a certain point, Tim Leary peels off and goes, hey, not for me. I'm going to go back to America. And that's when he starts to become part of popular culture, right? Ram Dass State.
Yeah.
Richard Alpert State.
Okay.
Neem Karoli Baba Maharaji of Neem Karoli Baba was the name of the bus station they found this man at. So that's not his actual name. No one actually knew his name. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. But Ram Dass realizes after however much acid he gives this man, his demeanor doesn't change. He is the same person as he was the moment they got there. I don't know for anybody listening, if you've ever been on LSD or been around someone that's on LSD, they're not the same.
You're throwing a lot of curveballs. Yeah, and you don't act the same. I don't know anybody that's ever acted the same.
Right, and I'm not saying in a bad way, like not in a dangerous way, but you're
just
like,
experiencing
okay,
different things.
But this is, he didn't change at all.
Allegedly.
I don't know. I've been a rave DJ since the 90s, but I have no idea what you're talking about. So he kind of just like that blew his mind because he was just that's a person.
Still at a baseline.
Yeah, he found someone. The way he describes it, I found someone that's already there, and they figured out a way to stay there.
Yeah,
and Ram Dass describes LSD as it allows you to be in the room with Christ, but you can't stay.
Fascinating.
Right. And whenever I say Christ and God, I'll say source, I'll say universe. But when I say God, I'm the road manager for AC/DC. Pete Holmes brings it up in one of his specials. And he's like, why didn't we learn this in church? His quote, road manager from AC/DC. We use the word God to describe the blanket that surrounds the mystery in order to give it shape. Right?
Word.
It's not monotheistic. It's not.
No, and
it's not a being in control. And like that's what he said.
Yeah, I'm with you because I feel like none of us really know, right? So God is just your way to explain to the higher power that it is. So it is a higher power. Uh-huh. We call it God because that's what we've been programmed to call it.
Right. That's the word we've all just been
correct. Beaten to our head.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he makes this observation.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's that night or within the same few days. I think Leary leaves around that time. They're not staying at the ashram. They're staying in the town. It's like a bus. I think it's like a bus ride into the mountain area.
Okay.
He goes back to the city. I might be messing up facts. I haven't read Be Here Now in a minute, but I've read it a couple times. But
we are not experts.
We're not experts. He goes to the beach. There's like a body of water somewhere in the area he's in. And he's just like walking along it at night, right? Just kind of gathering his thoughts. Tim Leary's definitely gone by this point because he's alone and he's walking. And his mother had passed recently, and there was stuff left unsaid, and Richard Alpert at the time was still struggling with that personally, while also just being in India, he's also struggling with the passing of his mother.
So grieving, but also trying to find the truth and hidden meaning of existence.
Grieving, but on the edge of there's something else.
Right, like on the edge of a breakthrough.
So he writes that he is...
Mine must have been all over the place. Dude. Especially taking acid.
Right, and, just being... plus, the ego portion for him, because he's not meditative, giant beard guy yet.
Yeah.
He's there. He's getting there. He's a hippie. He's definitely a hippie.
Yeah.
It's late 60s, early 70s, whatever. But he's walking along, whatever the shore, this body of water is, and he sees his mother. He has a vision of his mother. Kind of
sober?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just, he's intentionally thinking about his mom, as he's just sort of processing. And he has a vision. I don't remember exactly what it is, but they come to a peace. And he's on the beach and he's crying. And he's just like, yes, we're good. Me and mom are good. The next day, he goes back up to the ashram because that's why he's there.
Yep.
And he's sitting like you do. And Maharaji looks over at him and goes, I hear you talked to your mother last night or something. Like you talked to your mom last night. He hadn't spoken to anyone about it. It's just the next morning. And that was sort of his like crack.
Well, yeah, it would have been for me too.
How? This is when Ram Dass, I feel like this is the moment where he was like, okay.
He understood.
Shortly after that, I believe he did move to the ashram, was given the name Ram Dass. And his intention, his focus, whatever, is no longer Richard Alpert.
It's almost like he was reborn. He's reborn into this new, like, okay, I have a better understanding now from what just happened. And now I can, I'm going to live my life a completely different way. And I am a completely different person.
Completely different person. And so I studied a lot of him. He's written a lot of books at that point, or at this point. He left the plane 3 years ago.
Okay.
He had a stroke at one point, I think in the 90s, and just like graced himself through it. There's a wonderful documentary out there called Fierce Grace.
Okay.
That's all about him, because it was a bad stroke.
Yeah.
But by the time he died, he was talking again. He was wheelchair bound and stuff. But all that lead up is for this one experience I've never told you about.
Okay.
When I was living in Lafayette, I was reading this book called Love Everyone.
Okay.
I just moved into this new like apartment condo thing, and I hated my bed. Right? It was like the bed sucked.
Yeah.
So I was spending a lot of time. It was like king size bed, but it was like cheap as hell. It was just like no. So I was sleeping on the couch, which is big and cushy and comfy. So I was on the couch. My little dog was sleeping in between my knees, and we did our thing. But I'm reading this book at the time, and I put it down, and the book is filled with stories from people that knew Maharaji.
Okay.
And their experiences.
Just testimonials.
Just testimonials of, if you ever got the direct question, like, what do I need to do to reach enlightenment? Which now at this point in my life, 10 years later, awakening is the same word, right?
Yes. He
would just say, love everybody, like love everyone and feed people. Like, that's it. That's all he ever said to do, was to love everyone and feed people. Ram Dass's main practice, like his daily practice, almost like a rosary. We have our malas, right? It's 109 beads, and there you go. And he would sit and hold it, and 109 beads. He'd sit, meditate, and his mantra was, "I am loving awareness." Right. That's one I do from time to time. I actually stopped that. We'll get to the things. This is like a really long where I started and how I got here, where we are now.
Right. Trust me, everyone. The meat and potatoes of all this. But we need to set up. We need to know. We need to know about your background. This
is the history of where I am now.
Right.
And I feel like we and I have a lot of great mutual friends that, are like, yeah, they're kind of there. But I feel like I was like, oh no, I'm weird now because I like went this way, and we'll get there. But Lafayette, reading this book.
Okay.
Go to sleep. Put the book down.
Love everything, right?
Love everything. Parvati Marcus. I wasn't dreaming, but I had a vision. It felt absolutely real. Of Maharaji's face with like this like blue aura around it. Kind of just right here. Like if I was sleeping, he was right here.
Yeah.
Smiling and just beaming love. I shot up, crying and smiling and laughing, and never felt more safe and protected ever in my life. It was almost frightening, I got on Facebook. I found Parvati Marcus. Marcus or Marcus? Damn it. Now I feel like an ass.
No, it's okay. It's pretty close.
Yeah. And again, these are names that were given to them. A lot of Jewish academics from the Northeast got Indian names.
Yeah.
But I reached out to her and I told her what happened. Because there's a lot of that in the book where people just like other sides of the world and seeing him across the street and shit like that. Like, how was he here? stories of him being in two places at once. No, I was with him and he helped me XYZ. I'm like, no, he was 200 miles away with me on that same day, helping me do XYZ. We were together. Like those sorts of weird things. Right. So like I'd read about these things. So
and what was the time period when all of this was supposed to, like, when these people are writing these testimonials? Like,
the book came out a few years ago, but the time that they were there in the 60s.
Okay, 60s. Okay.
60s.
Thank you.
Late 60s.
So really hard to document that.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. So it's really just word of mouth.
Exactly.
And, so it's just like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent him like a Facebook message to the author, explained what happened. And she got back to me and was like, yeah, he does that. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, that was it. Like, that's what she said. It was like a heart and shit. I was like, what the? Okay. It's like, all right, something else is going on. Right. Then I kept my practice up.
Mm-hmm.
I kept learning and studying. Then it stagnated for a while.
Was it because of life?
Life and, in hindsight, in retrospect, I can see why I was stagnating. And my problem was I was practicing love, loving awareness, compassion. Compassion comes easy for me, right? Our societal construction or whatever we decided as a people, which I don't understand how that happens. Same reason I don't understand gender. I'm like, who made the rules?
Yeah.
Just other people?
Well, everything in this reality has a name that was given to it by something else that we are just supposed to call it and have an understanding of what society has laid out that law to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what we're doing here. And that's the whole point of this entire series is challenging those.
Right. And I'm going to have you apply that thought to yourself and your own name in a little bit.
Okay.
That was a good, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You're not Danny.
No, true. That's
Danny
just
was
the name that
was
I was
given.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll get there.
Okay.
I may or may not have been prepping for this speech.
After your story, I got a good story. I've never told anyone too. I'll share something.
Yeah, dude. I'm actually really excited about this because I was like, oh, I know Danny will let me just go.
Yep.
So I kind of stagnated based on what I thought love was.
Yes.
What I was taught love was, right? And so I figured I was practicing something incorrectly because of my understanding, right? All of these teachers that I've found, David Nichtern, fun fact, Krishna Das, who's another one of the guys that went over there. He's a kirtan singer and performer.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful kirtan singer. He went over there in the 60s, came back to California to get some of his shit to go back to India. Maharaji was like, oh, you're a singer. You're going to sing for me. And he knows like Hindu prayers and like Hanuman Chalisa. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I'll send you some.
Okay.
He went back to California to get some of his shit. And his old band that he left at the, previously to go do this, I believe that's a timeline. Like, hey, we got, someone's interest. Let's come back and record this stuff with us. He goes, no, I'm going back. I'm sorry. I found my calling. Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh.
Which I was like, that's hilarious.
That is.
Cowbell, Don't Fear the Reaper.
More cowbell.
Is Maharaji Krishna Das as well.
Okay. Wow. What?
Yeah. So, time goes by. I'm still doing my practice. Still, doing the.
And when you say doing your practice and studying, you're working on your manifestation, or
not yet.
Okay, not yet. So you're working on your meditation.
I'm working on meditation
and learning about love and
dharma and
what
reading,
is the root of love?
What's the root of just people and trying to understand. At this point, I've already been diagnosed with all this stuff. I'm in my early 30s, and I know my brain is not.
But did you give yourself permission after those diagnoses that you could have these thoughts that you didn't give yourself permission before that you could have?
No, I was keeping in mind and being aware of that I have these conditions while I'm processing my own internal stuff.
Almost like check yourself kind of thing.
Check yourself. Think that you might be wrong.
Yep.
It's another data point, et cetera, et cetera. And then also mental health therapy and mental health stuff. And therapy's, again, everybody should be therapy. So time's passing. I'm still doing my stuff.
Yep.
I get married again. She and I at the end were, it could have ended better, but we stayed friends for a minute, and we just sort of it was a good excuse for both of us to get out of Lafayette.
Yeah.
Went to Kansas City for a promotion. for a few years, et cetera, et cetera. But still just base stuff. Come back to New Orleans in the middle of COVID because we were both working remotely anyway, and our families in near Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And so we're like, yeah, we'll come back. I think I said, if we're going to be ordering DoorDash every day, I want to be able to get a po' boy.
Right.
Because that's what we were doing. We're just working from home and ordering DoorDash.
And we had met a couple times before you moved back during
Yeah,
COVID.
I met
but
you
then
just-
we really got close. When
Yeah,
we
well,
moved back.
yeah, but we only met a few times before the Kansas City thing, and then came back 5 years ago. I'm like, oh, fuck, what's up, dude?
Yep.
It was kind of like, I'm not going to lie. You want to hear something? Here's you
Sure.
and me. I'm like, oh, shit, Danny's still here? Nice.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't know. I just didn't.
You weren't.
I knew
you weren't.
you were, I wasn't
yeah, you weren't
here.
up to date with.
I wasn't up to
something.
date with
Yep.
shit.
Yep. Stuck around.
Eventually coming back here, second wife and I split. That was another one for me. I was like, I don't know.
What I did wrong.
Not what I did wrong. It was, at this point, it was, I don't know how to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Am I expecting? Am I, et cetera, et cetera? Like, at that point, I was just like, I'm fucking this up. Like, clearly. Because I was still of the mindset, meditation, practice, all of that stuff. Sensory deprivation, which I highly recommend.
I haven't tried it, but it's on my list.
I've got like 6 of them or something. I'll see if I can grab one. I'll give you one. It's the best. There's a place downtown. I think I have like 6 free ones.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Anyway, especially if you have a meditation practice, you get in that tank in 90 seconds, you're gone. You're just like, and then the door opens and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It's great. Plus, like, just turning off the hundreds of things our bodies process all the time, we're really only sensing 5.
Yes.
Right? And the float tank, the sensory deprivation tank, just removes those 5 so you can clear everything else. It's really nice. That's why meditation, first thing in the morning, right before bed, it's kind of clear out the night, clear out the day.
Yep.
A float tank, just like, we'll clear it out whenever you
love it. Yeah.
And if they ask you, like, oh, you want to pipe music in or something? No. You don't need any music.
Silence.
In that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I was at a point where I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
Not a lot of good examples of good relationships growing up. Besides my grandparents, they stayed together for like 60 years before they both passed. Mom, single mom. I met my dad side of the family later in life, and they were all cool.
Yeah.
But like, I watched a lot of TV. And film. Huge film guy. Stand-up comedy, she and I watched forever. But these tropes that are just constantly, this is what love is. This is what a relationship looks like. This is what happiness is.
Right.
She bought into that like everybody else did. I bought into that. We all bought into that for at least some point in our lives, if not our entire lives, we bought into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I say the escalator, it's like meet someone, go to college, get a job, meet someone, have a kid, get married, have a kid, die. Like, that's it.
Your traditional sense of what you're supposed to do.
So,
family.
So fast forward a couple years, I'm getting out there. I'm still putting myself out there, spending a lot more time over the last year or so. Silence is really nice, like solitude and silence. And I don't remember exactly what made me do it, to actually look it up. But I was sitting at the house one day at me and my most recent partner split up earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting at my house, and randomly, honestly, until this moment when I'm actually talking to you about it, I just always attributed it to ADHD. But I'm sitting there and I just opened my phone and I was like, manifestation. It's something I've always heard about. It was woo enough for me to be like, all right, I've had enough woo experiences, as most people would call it.
Mm-hmm.
I call it my truth. But like, I had enough woo experiences to, let me look this up. Danny. I know you and I talked a couple months ago. I was like, yeah, I'm checking this kind of stuff out. It's da-da-da. So I've been working on it.
This is what you were telling me outside. The key to manifesting.
So a lot of us, when we hear manifestation, we think of, Oprah's book club, The Secret. Where it's like, oh, if you think about a helicopter hard enough, you'll get a helicopter. Or if you think about a person hard enough, if you want it, you'll get it. And that's not what it is. It's not what it is. We're at a point in, there is a intersection right now between, we can call it manifestation, They called it telepathy in the 30s. Buddhism calls it nirvana. People have been doing this for thousands of years, but just different ways.
Yeah.
Right. But they're all connected. So we're seeing this intersection between these wisdom traditions, neuroscience, and quantum physics. We're seeing it. It can be measured now.
Right.
Dr. James Doty, magic mind. I'm just getting into it, but I've seen him talk and stuff. He's world-renowned neuroscientist, neurosurgeon, former head of the Dalai Lama Foundation. Went to Tulane Med. He rebuilt the library after Katrina.
I didn't know that.
Like he paid for it,
Okay.
like the medical library, I believe. I saw him on a podcast not too long ago. I haven't looked up to see if it's still happening, but there's a podcast a few months old. I think I sent it to you with Doty and Mel.
Okay.
And there's a Dr. James Doty Center for Consciousness being built at Tulane.
Really?
Right. This is that guy. This is a scientist. And my computer brain, I've always been in tech. I've always been electronic music. It's all numbers and bleeps and bloops. And,
right.
Everything's numbers, right?
Yep.
Science can measure, can see when we're doing certain things and we're intentional. So the biggest thing that I learned, and I learned this, I found Neville Goddard, who is one of the earliest teachers of this, right around the Depression.
Okay.
Right. The way he calls it is a secret. It's, you have to feel it.
Right.
The feeling is the secret. The feeling of having what you want. Again, not a material thing. The feeling of having what you want, meditating into that point to where you can actually feel it. Your subconscious, again, science, cannot tell the difference between an emotion experienced through sitting and feeling the emotion or the 3D world, you reacting to something in the 3D world that creates emotion. Your subconscious does not know.
Right.
It cannot tell.
Right.
So the main practice, which, Goddard's actually brought up in the medical stuff, which I appreciate. Right. Actually, the first line in James Doty's book too is the universe does not give a fuck about you. That's his first line.
Okay.
And it's not a negative comment whatsoever. No. So I started practicing that, and I've been doing that for a few months. Meditating with, and the I am statement is powerful.
Yes, sir.
Breathe in the I, pause, breathe out the am, bro.
Yeah.
You feel powerful.
Yeah.
Again, the Bible was interpreted wrong.
Yeah.
Goddard does all that stuff. He's like, this is it. This is it. It was that the kingdom of heaven is in you. That's what they're fucking talking about.
Right.
And now we got guys like Doty and Dispenza, Dr. Dispenza being like, no, this is, we can measure it.
Right.
We can measure the, your brain, your heart. We can measure the, electrical and magnetic fields around these things.
Right.
And they can measure having a thought or having a really vivid image of something.
Visualization.
And feeling it. You can close your eyes and think about the happiest day of your life, and you can feel that shit.
Yes.
You can close your eyes and think about the worst day of your life, and you can feel that shit.
100%.
So visualizing, feeling the emotion from what you're visualizing, holding it, making that your practice. Hardest part is walking through the day and monitoring your actual internal thoughts.
Yes.
Because if you're hearing something that's anti and in opposition to what you're feeling, someone's like, hey, slow down.
Call that a negative punch.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So monitoring that and correcting them, but not in an angry way.
Right.
Just being like, hey, this is my phrase.
Acknowledging it.
Yes.
Okay, I understand I have this. Now get the fuck out.
Here's the phrase I use when I use to myself when I catch those things. I say, that is no longer a state that I occupy.
Yep.
I box it up and I put it aside.
I love that. Well, when I first started my meditation journey, right, it all just started with, hey, I need to clear my mind. And then I had watched a video one time of someone saying, when you close your eyes, envision a candle in a black space and the candle's flickering.
Did I tell you this?
And maybe,
Yeah, that's a Lama Surya Das meditation.
And when you're looking at the flame, then the smoke that comes from the flame is wavy. And the more you look at it and you stare at it, because it happens in reality too, in our reality, the smoke will become a stream. And when you focus on that, it actually ignites feeling inside of you when you see the stream of smoke being steady, that when you start visualization practices after that, it contributes to that.
Oh, yeah.
And then after I had Zoe, it was like, okay, I know the feeling of love I have for Zoe. So all I have to do is tap into that feeling of love before I start visualizing. And then that is just such an amplification of it all.
That is the correct way to do it.
Yep.
That's the beginning. Neville Goddard actually has a book called Feeling is the Secret.
Okay.
Right. That's where the title from the fucking secret came from.
Right.
Right.
And I've said this in a past podcast. It's not about closing your eyes and saying, I want checks in the mail, and then checks pop in the mail. That's not it.
No, but we'll get to the specifics of that in a second, because that's a new one too. But I wasn't struggling with it. I started to see little things here and there, and it's hard to describe the end result, because there's so much stuff happens internally, right? That I can tell you what I'm doing. I can tell you what the end goal is. I can tell you why people have been doing this for thousands of years. But can I tell you what it feels or looks like when it's done? Can I describe the color red to someone who's been blind their entire lives?
Can you explain that you were the person that actually manifested that into reality, or is it just a coincidence?
Right. That's the thing. So it's also one of those things that one of the big things about it is, which kind of plays to avoiding the ego when you're practicing this, is don't tell anyone. Just do your internal work alone. And I did it for long enough that eventually I was just like, I feel great. I was like, hey, y'all, check this out. Because I had a rough couple of years. We've known each other.
Yeah.
We're friends.
But people don't need to know those things.
I'm not telling. No. I only say that. I'm not bringing up. I'm not.
I was talking about people. When you're working on yourself, people don't need to know that you're working on yourself unless the conversation comes up where you're like, oh, I'm actually working on this. I can help this person out. And discuss it with them.
And that's really where I am. And plus, like, it's not a working on yourself. It's the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Right. I was making jokes earlier. I was a psychonaut for the longest time. This isn't the end.
Right.
We are a collected consciousness. Not only are we our collected consciousness, but we are separated from that consciousness. So that was that my exercise earlier.
Yeah.
Your name is Danny. It was given to you. It's my hand. No, it's not. That's what is my.
Yeah. This is just the meat suit.
Right. So it's your consciousness that you and I are using right now, or consciousness that we're using right now, I believe. I don't know if this was ever taught anywhere or whatever, but the way I envision it in my mind is there's me, Jared, sitting here talking to you, and consciousness is also, the collected consciousness is also there, but not interacting, right? So the idea behind all the manifestation is the universe gives you what you are. The universe,
bad or good, because he doesn't translate the difference between bad or good.
It doesn't. It's just oh, this is the state you were in. That's the field we're going to put around. That's the field you're putting out. That's
you're creating it.
You're creating it, and that's a hard one for a lot of people. That was a hard one for me. Because I've been told since I was 16 that I've had mental health issues, and finally diagnosed with ADHD later in life, and I did have mental health issues at 16. Something was off, right?
Well, all it takes is a chuckle from someone when you start trying to talk about this stuff, where you're like, okay, this person's not on the same frequency as me.
Yeah, and I don't even really bring it up unless it's a close friend or somebody, asks about it.
Yeah.
But like, how you doing today? I'm like, man, I'm fucking great.
Yeah.
So I started doing this. I've been doing it for a few months. I started seeing little things trickle in here and there. I'm like, that's crazy. Weird stuff. Like, I had a random thought about a friend I hadn't seen since high school. Random as hell. Ran into her the next day at Finn's.
At
like a bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like that kind of stuff. I got a half dozen other examples, but examples feel like I'm selling, right? More examples is for my ego. So let me just tell you, they were all little, you know.
Just small things that you focused on when you were visualizing that you noticed are popping up in your day-to-day.
Right.
Yeah.
We're visualizing. I don't visualize well. There's a few ways you can do it. Visualizing, if you can do it, is awesome. It's one of the best ways to do it because, again, your subconscious, no fucking idea.
I've only learned recently that people's brains don't all process thoughts the same way because I always thought everybody had an internal dialogue going on in their head all the time. But then I realized that I'm just nuts. So
no, I have that too.
Yeah, but some people don't. Some people walk around just completely blank-minded. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you function that way?
Our mutual friend just moved in with me. I think I told you. Did I tell you?
No.
Moved in.
Oh, no, didn't tell me.
Yeah, he moved back to town. Okay. He didn't tell nobody.
Okay.
But
not surprised.
But and you can cut this out because this is him talking. This is medical stuff.
Okay.
Or you can cut out his name or whatever. But our mutual friend has synesthesia, which he sees sounds and stuff like that. Which
what?
How does your I can't even imagine that. Synesthesia is a real thing.
And he's a DJ.
And it took me forever to realize
sound waves.
He doesn't smoke weed. He's just, his processing is different because sometimes he sees shit. And he's not freaking out or anything. He's just aware of it.
Yeah.
He told me that recently. He's like, I didn't know you had that. That makes nice, you know?
But he's also kind of a lone gun, right?
Actually,
like when he goes in social situations.
He doesn't need anybody.
No, he's like, there's been times where even I had Travis Barbera on the podcast the Nolico, and they went to Austin together, and he said when we got there, he left, and we didn't see until he got back.
I don't even see him. He came up to when I was in Kansas City. He was one of the only two people to come visit, which I appreciated. Him and I should probably stop saying people's names.
If you want me to bleep names, I can bleep names or cut names, whatever.
Yeah. Thing specifically, he's working on a new job right now, and I don't want him to be like,
that's fine.
That's a medical condition he didn't tell you about.
That's great that you think this podcast is going to be so great that everyone's just going to see everyone's names.
I don't know the future, Danny.
I don't either,
but
I can manifest it.
If my life continues on this path, I think a lot of people are going to hear this one. Not because it's me, but it's an energy thing. Like people get found. That's what happened to me. I got found.
Doesn't it just feel right to be sitting here talking right now?
That's fantastic. I've been looking forward to this for a week.
It just feels good. Yeah. And I just love this.
It's hard for me to talk about this stuff without even close friends being like, I love you, but shut up.
Yeah.
You know? So I've been doing this, little trickles here and there. I avoided some people do it for love. Some people do it for peace. Some people do it for money, which is just abundance. Right. And all it is correcting feelings. I never liked the abundance thing because money to me, that's a personal thing to me. The internal, like I hate the idea of currency.
Well, we go right back to it's a man-made thing that not man, but humans said you need money to pay for things. Yeah. You must work to get money to pay for things. And that is reality. Yeah.
And that's, humans invented money and time.
Yep.
So I never really focused on that, but I started throwing some more abundance focused stuff in. And, where I feel abundant, I don't feel lack. And again, I've felt lack. I was out of work for a few months and I was going to food banks and all that stuff because I was taught the wrong type of pride.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. It was don't ask anybody for help. And that's something I've wrestled with my entire life.
Same.
And just in the past couple of years, realizing that that's dumb. And recently realizing I am very abundant because money's an energy. It's just a spreadsheet on some asshole's computer, right? That's what money is.
Yeah, the IRS.
We all have our spreadsheets. Mine's crazy.
Yeah.
But looking back when I was in between jobs, it was only 3 months, and the job I have now, dude, life-changing. It's so good. And it's not a financial thing. It's we respect you and work-life balance and yeah. How can we help you?
You're having a problem. We'll solve that problem.
You're having a problem. Let's.
You're valuable.
You're valuable.
Yeah.
And everybody really feels that there, and it's wonderful.
It's the worst when you work at a place where you know that everyone is replaceable. Like the amount of stress and toxicity that must go on in those environments.
When I started at Whole Foods in 2009, my name was Jared. When I left in what are we at? Yeah, when I left in 2024, I was 1230168.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like I always had that number, but that was by the end, it was just
You're a number.
You're a number. You're a number. I should have left. I hate the word should. When Amazon first, I can talk shit. It's been over a year. When Amazon first bought Whole Foods, the first thing they did, one of the biggest things about Whole Foods was they worked on service hours. It wasn't categorization for benefits.
Okay.
You can be categorized part-time or full-time and get benefits when you hit 800 hours. So 800 hours is like whatever the full-time, like basic, it's like 90 days or whatever.
Yep.
That's normal for a full-time position. And part-timers, once they hit 800 service hours, they would also get health insurance coverage. They were eligible, which is why that's where Whole Foods character came from. It was the students and the artists and all these people, these creative people that believed in what they were doing initially, which was natural food. And they could also get fucking health insurance.
Right.
I knew a guy that worked there years ago. He had been making pizzas forever. He has 3 kids. His wife's an attorney. She was the breadwinner, but he stayed working there because the coverage was so good for the entire family. He just kept making pizzas. When Amazon came in, one of the first things I remember them doing was part-time category no longer gets benefits. Everybody left because that's why I was working here. I'm a student and I could work part-time and get my teeth looked at.
Yeah. That's a huge, huge cost to people.
The
benefits are important.
Yeah, but I mean, Jeff Bezos makes $7 million an hour.
Yeah, I know.
Anywho.
Well, that's, Melissa was telling me this morning, she's like, did you see this thing where Billie Eilish is talking about how there should be no billionaires? Why is there billionaires?
Billionaires shouldn't exist.
Give the money. If billionaires gave even just a small fraction of all their money to like help the world, then the world would be a completely different place. Like there's no reason.
The tax on billionaires would house everyone.
And I was trying to tell her, I was like, people have had money forever. There's always been people that have had more money than everyone's. When you go back to pharaohs, and then you go back to the Rothschilds, and you go back to the there's always been someone that's had the amount of money that is going to be more and will not invest it in making the world a better place. There's always going to be.
Right. I'm curious. I don't know when. Oh man, that's something I never looked at. It's just a curiosity. You might know. When did the hoarding start? Was that around after the Depression?
The hoarding for
just hoarding
people?
Cash.
Oh.
Just hoarding, because that started.
Well, there was a few things, right? You had that happened after the Great Depression, and then the housing crash that happened in 2008. That big crash, the stock market crash and everything. Like, so now nobody really just knows when that next time is going to come.
Yeah, that no one got in trouble for, even though people saw it way ahead of time. That thing in 2008.
Yes. What is that movie? The Big Short. The Big Short. Yeah. Great. A buddy of
mine from here's in it. They filmed some of it down here. I think he's one of the 2 guys sitting outside of Christian Bale's office the whole time. Yeah. Buddy Andrew's in there.
Yep.
What's up, Andrew?
So that's why.
Yeah, that's so. The abundance for me, I had a moment where my idea of money's fake, wealth is an energy, I am abundant, didn't come from money. It came from knowing and finally realizing, yes, I have friends and but I've had enough things happen in my life where I don't depend on other people.
Yeah.
And that's not, it sounds bad, but I do depend on certain people. Like there are people, but I'm very much hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, let's hang out. Oh, I can't make it. I'm so sorry. Whatever.
Well, unfortunately, trauma shaped that.
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of trauma work, too. That's a lot of it. So recently, the feeling of abundance has been good, right? All my bills are paid. Got money.
You're not rich, but you're financially free. You're financially stable.
I'm stable. Most of my stuff's on auto pay.
You can pay your bills.
Yeah, I can pay my bills. I'm never behind. If I'm behind, it's a couple days or a week.
Right.
And nobody cares.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've called over the last couple of years of a bill or something. It's gonna be like, and they're like, you know what? It's cool. We get it. Like that's the vibe everywhere. They're like, okay, it's fine. We see you've paid your bill on
Everyone's
time
going
for a
through it,
year.
man.
Everybody's going through
Yeah.
it. And so that's been super nice. And now that I hit this point where like I don't need it, more is coming.
Right.
I'm being told more is coming. You know, there's this and that changes. You know,
Well, you gave it
career
up,
stuff.
right? You gave
it
the
up.
worry.
I
right?
let it go.
Yeah.
The worry is what it was.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how much you try, you sit there and you meditate and you can affirm. Whenever people say affirmations don't fucking work, it's true. They really only work when you feel it too. Feeling is the secret.
Well, your affirmation's not going to work if you say it and you don't believe it.
That. It is a yes. And
Yeah.
we hit a thing I was definitely going to say to you. I'll believe it when I see it is wrong.
Correct.
You need to believe it and also have faith that you will see it.
Faith is everything.
Because, it's all faith.
You know, people can call it prayer. People can call it meditation. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe that your prayer is already answered when you ask for it, then it will not happen.
Right. And you have to, the feeling is the secret. If you're sitting there meditating and you're trying to manifest abundance, but you still feel lack every day, you're feeling that lack and your subconscious is communicating that to our collective.
Yep.
And that's what we'll see.
Because again, the universe cannot tell the difference between positive and negative.
It can't tell the difference. Not only can it not do that, it's just, it doesn't know.
No.
We are communicating all the time with our thoughts and with our everything. Feelings, what state we believe we are in. The universe doesn't give you things. God doesn't give you things. Nobody gives you things. But you can establish what state you're in.
Right.
Right? And that's the thing. So, can we take a break for a cigarette?
Yeah.
I'm back, but you're peeing again. You had to make a pee-pee again, Danny.
Yeah. So what we were talking about before was manifestation.
We're talking about manifestation. I know we touched on money, abundance. Let me get to the meat. Let me get to the thing I've been wanting to tell you about, and I haven't seen you since I got back from Chicago.
No.
So I went to Chicago to visit a friend a few weeks ago. And, Saints Bears, we went to the game.
Saints suck. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Like, I was there in Saints shit, and we met some of his friends, and we were both in Saints gear. His wife was wearing Bears stuff that she bought earlier that week, so she got shit all day. But I was like, how dare you? Everybody there was nice. It was very much like, so many friends were like, hey, watch out for those Chicago people. I was like, it's not 2006 NFC Championship game anymore.
Right.
Like, that was gross. The mayor of Chicago, apologized to the city of New Orleans. Because it was right after Katrina. And
man, we were playing in their domain. The Saints weren't built for that game. Anyway.
Katrina was a big thing with the taunts and people getting... This one woman was on the news. She got, dirt and snow kicked in her eyes. And I was just like, Jesus. The mayor of Chicago, it was either an open letter or he got on the news and was like, sorry. Like, it was that bad.
Right. So
people were still thinking that. I'm like, dude, that was fucking 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was super nice. And I made it very clear that I was aware of how much our team sucks. And I just hope both teams have a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone in Chicago understood and appreciated your sentiment that the Saints suck as well.
Yeah, we're it's a whole new system. Oh, we don't need to talk about football.
Yeah, we're getting off track. Okay.
We're getting off track. We don't need to do that.
You started this by saying this is the one thing that I want to tell you.
This is, I think I told you this.
Me on the edge of my seat, and I need to hear it.
I've been telling you this for days and off mic, and I've been saving it. We're in Chicago, Saints game.
Mm-hmm.
Little background on me, a little bit. I mentioned it earlier. I've been DJing house music and techno since the late 90s. It's just it got me. For the record, both of these musics were created by queer people of color. And we're safe spaces for queer people of color. I want to make that very fucking clear. Anybody who doesn't think dance music is a black thing, a minority music, is a fucking idiot. And they have blinders on. That's like people are like rock and roll, isn't it? It's like every music is from Black people.
Yeah.
And don't hit me with the traditional Chinese and stuff like that. Like, no, of course not. But like our popular American music, we created. That's the thing I'm most proud of America is house and techno. We've created a number of musics by people who live on our land.
Yeah.
See what I said there?
Mm-hmm.
You see how I did that?
I saw that.
But that music is just so pure and spiritual. You know what I'm talking about. House music is a spiritual fucking thing. So there's a club in Chicago. You're aware of it, for everyone there, called Smart Bar. And it is, not to be disrespectful to any other cultures or religions, but for a househead, Smart Bar is like Mecca. Like you have to go once in your life.
Okay.
Minimum. Okay. Again, no disrespect. That's just how important it is to me and a number of people. It was Derek Carter's birthday. Derek Carter, big house. It was after the Saints game. We go there. I had full on intimate relationships with 5 or 6 different people that night on the dance floor. No words, no physical contact. And I was just floating. I had another house epiphany. House music's kind of, and then like we refer to it as the house epiphany, where it hits you somewhere at some point and you're like, holy shit, it's caught me here.
Yeah.
I had another one. I hadn't had one since I was a kid. And we get back to Dan's place and, I'm getting ready for bed, take a shower, and I stop. And something just stopped me in the center of the room. I mentioned earlier that there was a relationship earlier in this year that ended. One of the things I was manifesting, and I haven't told anybody this. I've kind of hinted to it with a couple of close friends, but I haven't told anybody this.
Okay.
I was manifesting their return, right? I spent a lot of time manifesting, their return, because I'm a big second chances guy.
You mean manifesting their return to your friendship circle, not return from a different place?
I'm saying manifesting my return, or their return to our relationship.
Yes, got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I didn't tell anybody that I was doing this, and it all makes sense in a second, like, was not a single friend was like, would say that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single person that is close to me, would support that.
Yeah.
And I was under, I was still, I think part of it was the ego. I was just like, we decided what we were, and that's what we'll be.
Right.
Even though people change their minds all the time, change is the only constant, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm standing there after, getting home from the club, still glowing. I still feel it. I'm feeling it right now, just talking about it. My body is buzzing.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that day. And it hit me that you don't really manifest super specific things. Some people claim you can. I'm not saying that they haven't been able to. But the more recent scientific work and stuff it's more that you manifest a state of abundance, a state of love, a state of peace. So I knew that. But for some reason, I wasn't letting go of this. I'm doing all these other things. I'm manifesting all this other stuff, and my life has just been slowly getting better and better. Like I said, little trickles of things. Oh my God, I just thought of you and you showed up,
Yeah.
20 minutes later.
Well, do you watch Bashar? Bashar?
This is all the same. This is,
yeah. Circumstances don't matter. Only your state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer?
Exactly. And you know why circumstances don't matter? Nothing is present. What I mean when I say that is you and I are having this conversation right now, but our eyes and brains are still processing what's happening. Our senses are being processed. That's the past. It may be minute and we can't tell. We think this is the present, but everything is still slightly the past.
Right.
The past. Time's not real.
Yeah.
So I realized sitting there that with that in mind, I realized something hit me. It was just a voice in my head, and maybe my own voice. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's also the idea that when you give into this and you're trying this, that source, God, the universe, insert name, only has your highest self in mind, right? For lack of a better word, like the universe has no problem giving you whatever you want, whatever type of state you want to be. And when you're in particular, if you're in a state of love, you attract and magnetize love. If you're in a state of abundance, you attract and magnetize abundance. Because both of those things, like you said earlier, you said this earlier, you don't need them anymore because you're already in the state, right? People say, oh, when you stop wanting something, it shows up. Like that's a common thing people say. Something like that. Like, oh, as soon as you stop.
When someone retires and stops working, their life expectancy goes down.
Right. Like
their purpose and their reason for existing is no longer what it dies.
Right. That was their state. Their state was to work. You know, those type of people, that was their state. So knowing that, all this little bit, mainly that my best interest, whatever I need to be my highest self, is regarded in whatever way by the thing we can't really communicate with, right? But we're all a part of.
Right.
It hit me that her return would not be good for me. And the universe is not allowing me to manifest something that is against what my highest self is. That hit me all just like while I was standing there.
But that's not true. That's not true.
It is true.
No, the universe will give it to you either way. And I'll tell you my experience from that. I was in college when I was really focusing on meditation and manifesting. And there was a girl that I had loved for a long time. Long time. And every night, every morning, strong feeling, focusing on visualization and manifesting that. And then it happened. After we had been friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. She was with someone else at the time, and we were out, and it just happened. And she broke it up with him. I got in with her. We started, dating or whatever, and lasted 2 weeks. And it was the most toxic, tumultuous, awful experience of my life because I knew I manifested it. I knew that was now my reality, and I was fucking miserable. And so therefore, I think the universe will give it to you anyway, but the end results will not necessarily be what you expected them to be.
You see me grinning real hard, right?
Yeah, I do. I see it.
All right. So what Goddard teaches, and a lot of the, again, manifestation, I hate that word. It's not a great realignment to how powerful you actually already are to begin with, that we all forgot about collectively as a species.
Yeah.
The way they describe that is you were manifesting love. Absolutely. That relationship was, they call it either a delay of the same path. You are currently in love with a child. And would you change that?
Never. No, never.
You manifested that.
Yes.
Manifestation, there's no time, there's no speed. Sometimes things happen quickly, sometimes they don't. And it's, you view those things as obstacles. I view both of my divorces as part of the path. I view all of my experiences as part of the path.
Well, we're all experienced. So you had to go through those two things, those two situations, those two heartaches, those two grievings, those two situations in life to get to where you are now and to be the person that you are now.
Absolutely. Like all of those things are part of it. And those things, like anything that deviates deviates you from the path you're shooting for is still the path.
Yeah.
Because you're going forward.
You're failing forward.
And learning what you learned from that relationship influenced all the decisions you made going forward to end up with Melissa.
That's right.
And the child.
That's correct.
That's all it was. It was a delay.
It was a lesson.
And that's exactly what it is. The universe doesn't happen to us. Life doesn't happen to us. Reality doesn't happen to us. It happens through us.
Right.
So like we were saying earlier, yes, it'll give you bad shit if that's the state you're in. Right.
Right.
So that's what I believe.
It's, and I wrote this down. It says, life happens to me, life happens by me, life happens through me, and life happens as me. Those are the 4 stages where, one, you're in a state of victimhood, and the other, you go to self-empowerment and then self-actualization.
Yeah.
And like, those are like the stages where you are enlightened.
We're going to continue this conversation in our real lives, but I'm making mental notes, stuff to talk about with you later.
Yeah.
I might get you to stop saying the word self.
You're right.
I'm look, repeating things I've been taught.
Yeah.
None of these ideas are mine. They are, but like I get them in my experience. But back to what I was saying, making that realization that this wouldn't be good for me. And there was a thing for someone to need me. And then I got married, but someone who didn't need me.
You wanted to be wanted.
Right. So the last couple of relationships, I was finding people that needed me for one reason or another. And
I can save her.
Dude.
I could save her. Those memes.
Dude.
I could
well, not even like I never did. I never said I could save whoever, because there's been a couple of them, but they were more like, I understand their experience. We can get through this together. But it was just, you know what I mean? So as soon as I made that realization, as soon as I went, fuck, and I let it go,
mm-hmm.
the last little drops of anger, any frustration, just vanished.
It's like a weight was lifted off your shoulders.
Time, this is a thing that they bring up. A few people bring it up, including Goddard and Jung. Jung also says when you hit 40, shit gets, oh, fuck. Like, that's a Jungian thing where he's just like, when you hit 40, that's when you realize, like, everything's fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a bad way, just like, oh, I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's how we all do it.
Right.
Time, I told you this earlier, time has completely collapsed. This is a thing that pops up a lot. I still feel like I'm in Chicago, and that was weeks ago.
Right.
I never needed a calendar to live my life, and now I can't. The last few weeks, I'm like, I need to check my calendar multiple times a day and before I go to bed because I don't have any clue what day it is. Constantly just floating. I told you downstairs earlier, we're not getting the details here, but I gave you an example of like instant manifestations that have happened to me since this has happened. Everything's falling into place. And the main thing that I was able to do once I dropped that, I'm not even gonna say it's the universe. Like we could say that whatever other piece is involved in the manifestation ritual, the manifestation process. Actually, like what you said earlier, not that the universe wouldn't allow me to have that. Maybe that little buddy back there piloting this fucking thing. Piloting this.
He knew what you went through.
You
went through this already, man.
You only get one meat man.
That's it.
You know? And
my friend Ben said, this is just our first life too, like this our soul's first life, like, because that's, in this body.
In this body. Yeah. So once I did that, I was finally able to, we said letting go earlier, I was finally able to fully surrender
mm-hmm.
to the idea that the greater whatever isn't here to give me challenges. I was giving myself challenges by living most of my life in a state of lack, a state of abandonment, a state of, the not understanding weird ideas due to just, our culture and stuff of what love is, et cetera, et cetera. And so being able to fully surrender to the idea that I'm good in here, the universe, whatever, it's coming.
Yeah.
And
maybe I don't know what's best for me. Maybe I should just trust.
Maybe I don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should just trust. Instinct, gut reaction, always trust it because it's you from the future going, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're just, I think this is a Bashar thing too, where we're just constantly millions of times a second, just like moving between parallel, experiences
Yeah.
or realities, because so many things.
Yeah.
Right.
Just one choice makes an alternate reality split.
Right. And we all have more ability to guide that than we realized. So I've been staying in this state of love and abundance and fulfillment.
Yeah.
The secret, the real secret, this is the real fucking secret, is gratitude.
Yes, it is.
Because I end my night with gratitude, I wake up with gratitude. Because gratitude, you know what your subconscious reads gratitude as? Fulfillment.
Yeah, you're right.
And when you're fulfilled, you don't need anything, whatever it may be. You don't need whatever. And you feel fulfilled in whatever you felt lacking in before. The universe gets that energy. And the universe says, all right, this is the energy that they have, so this is what they get. Surrendering to that has just been, I need to start writing down.
Well, you're a new person.
Yeah, it was definitely a new birth. I definitely see differently.
You're no longer the Jared that I knew before. You are now the Jared who, as we said earlier, kind of circling back to what we were talking about earlier with, what was his name? Leary? Was it
Tim Leary?
Becoming a different person.
Yeah, Tim Leary and Richard Alpert to Ram Dass, right? Yeah. You because it's a perspective switch.
Yes.
And
you see things differently now.
Fuck, dude.
Right.
I can't tell you
situations
how different everything is, and I can't tell you. I'm not on. I've diagnosed years ago with like general anxiety disorder and stuff. I've not had any anxiety in a month. I haven't.
You're not worrying about anything.
I haven't
You're
worried
trusting,
about anything,
man. Like that's what anxiety stems from, is worry. Like, and it's beyond what you can control. And if you can at least surrender, that was a perfect term.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Just surrender. Then that's where all that anxiety and worry goes away, and it just evaporates, because then you're like, okay, well, I can't control this. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's what it is. And that's Alan Watts. We all know Alan Watts. Alan Watts?
No.
Oh.
Actually, I probably do, but I just...
Alan Watts...
bad with names.
Was the foremost Western Zen practitioner. He brought Zen over here.
Okay.
Among so many other things. But one of the things he says is... he uses the word worrying, I think. Is it worrying?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the anxiety worrying thing is... it doesn't exist because can you fix it? Yeah, cool. No, cool.
Right.
He didn't say it like that, but...
no, but that's true.
That's what it is. Can you do something about it? Neat. Solved. Can you not do anything about it? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Right.
Because it's wild, man. We get really bogged down with what we're supposed to be, right?
And how we of us when we're raised.
Expected of us, the things that are taught to us about how to be a proper member of society. And it's like, all right, well, fine.
This is what a successful human looks like.
Oh, this is the Ram Dass. Here we go. That's it. Ram Dass, he speaks on that. He says, I told you this before. I'll agree you say who you are if you agree I say who I am. And keeping the spacesuits straight, right? Because that's what we were taught. We were taught to have labels. We were taught to, you're an architect, you're an engineer, you're married, you're gay, you're straight, you're, white, black, etc. Like they're all just labels to. I'm not discounting any of those things. I'm just saying, like, we're so used to just like having labels and putting labels on ourselves that we feel we have to live up to what we interpret those labels to be based on what the people who made the labels said they should.
Right.
And that is fuck.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for so long. I've been doing that for so long that I don't know. This has sort of just been this whole experience has been so eye-opening, A difference between when I first started 10 years ago, this like meditation practice and stuff, and now.
Right.
Back then, when I first started seeing actual results from meditation, like being able to, you ask me a question, and I'm no, meditation gives me a second, a beat, one dry swallow,
Right.
and then I can respond. It slows me down so I can just be aware. Back then, you would have caught me saying, I wish I would have learned this years ago. I wish I would have learned this years. I wish I would have known this when I was younger. Fuck. Now I'm hitting this and this next, whatever this is, level of, same type of stuff. I wouldn't wanted to have known this then, right? I needed all of these experiences to get here now. All of my past experiences, right? Also, don't believe time is separate. So,
no,
like it's all happening simultaneously, right?
Yes.
That was made up.
No past, no future, just present.
Just complete, dude. The time thing is probably the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But like awesome because I'll notice it. Like I'm like, oh shit, it's 3 days later. Everything got done. I saw my friends who I was supposed to do. Anybody had an appointment with got done. I'm killing it at work. Like I feel great all the time. And I'm like, oh shit, it's been days since I XYZ. I need those things. I needed to be aware of and experience the things in my past to be this Jared now.
Yeah.
Right? It just, again, it's hard to explain without, it's describing a color to somebody who's never seen color. Like it's, worst case scenario with this stuff is you get a good meditation practice out of it.
Yeah.
Best case scenario is
you change your entire reality.
You change everything. Like absolutely everything. The point lately, and this actually also comes up in the books and stuff. They're like when it starts happening, when it's happening and you're living this type of life, you'll start to see these things where previous things you enjoyed they're not as enjoyable, and like your people in your life fall away that are not within where you're aligned now, which very true.
Oh, so yes, right? I can't even begin.
Insanely true. Once that frequency changes, like
that's it.
And no hate or anything. No, just we're all living our fucking lives.
And my path is not aligned with yours anymore.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's cool.
No hard feelings. I'll still see you from time to time.
I'll see you when I see you.
As I do. But like, I'm on a different trajectory now.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's ADHD. Back to the gratitude thing.
Yeah.
On top of the gratitude thing. Yes. One of the key components of me getting to a place where I can actually really start doing this, and this one was hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the actual the actual thing I would repeat to myself. I'm trying to remember. It was, I forgive everyone in my past for any perceived wrongs. I release them with love. That one, hard.
Yeah, well,
because I could not
swallowing your pride.
Because the thing about when you still have anger, when you still have any, perceived wrongs, because it's perception, right? They may have not seen it as a wrong. I've got a few great examples of that in my life where I'm like, how the fuck do you think that's okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I needed to forgive myself for the projections of myself that I was seeing in these people. I could not do that until I forgive and release them with love.
Yeah.
We don't need to be friends. Certain people all have those. Like, we don't need to be friends no more. I don't wish any harm on you. Live your life. We are not on the same frequency. You're not in my life anymore. Right. So therefore, how could you have any fucking control over me?
Yeah.
Why am I even thinking about it?
Why do I care about what your opinion would be whatsoever?
Dude, releasing everybody's opinion. Dude, the only person whose opinion should matter to you is you.
That's right.
None of that, dude. It's funny too, because like these are things, we know this, like academically we can say this. And lately it's different frequency. And I'm very aware of it. I see it so much just within friends of mine. And
when your eyes are open, you see it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're just going through a daily motion.
Yeah. It's crazy. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, fuck, I love you. You want to learn how to not do this? And they're like, nah, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay.
That's the worst thing, is when you're like, look, this is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it.
Yeah.
This is how I've overcome it. And this is like kind of, in my opinion, how you will make your life better. Yeah. But then, no, that's like you said, woo woo.
Woo woo. You know, and it's, and I only offer that to like close friends. I'm like, hey, that's actually, I see what we're having a conversation and I see where your thoughts are coming from. And it's hurting you.
I had a friend who called me yesterday morning, told me that their daughter had woken them up in the middle of the night, and then they were listening to the first 2 episodes of the podcast that I released. Nice. And he's like, I found it on YouTube, listened to it. He's like, for the last 2 months, I had been in such a state of just down, worried, feel like I was getting kicked. And he's like, now when I was on my way to work and I was finishing that second episode, he's like, I realized that I just had a bigger pep in my step. I just had a better understanding, and that like I was the one that was making all of this happen in my own head, and that's where I was living.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel great, and I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate that.
Okay, man.
And I'm like, that is amazing.
That's
like
amazing.
That makes me so happy to hear. Like, that's the point.
If anything that's ever come out of my mouth in my life, or any actions I've ever performed in my life that made anyone's experience even the slightest bit better.
Yeah.
I'm good. I've succeeded in life.
Yeah.
And
I've said it time and time again. Like, we are here to just create and share what we create.
We're all just walking each other home. Ram Dass.
That's it.
Because that's what we're doing, man. And I don't know. It's just I don't have the poetry of language to really describe to you exactly how I feel right now, in this moment, in the earlier moments, in whatever moment. Like, I can't explain it. And
what you're doing is you're just experiencing present. You are appreciating the present, and you are living and experiencing it without thinking about what's happened before or what's happened after.
Yeah, because I've taken those things and I've gleaned everything I'm gonna get out of them and use those to make other decisions in my life in the 3D world, right? But my internal world is not connected to the external at all at this point. I've completely disconnected. And I'm not saying like, dude, like I'm not living in the woods and shit.
Right.
I wish.
Me too.
But I still go to work. I still have bills, because those are the things. Duncan Trussell, comedian, podcaster, psychonaut, knew Ram Dass. And he asked him, when he was still alive, he asked Ram Dass, he said, "Are you my guru?" And Ram Dass's response was, "Yes. Now what?" Just pop the bubble. That's the way he describes it. Just like, you still have to eat, you still have to take care of your family. Sure. Yeah, sure. I'm your guru. What does that mean?
Right.
Just totally destroyed him. And this is Ram Dass, full of love, everything. Just like, yeah, sure, I'm your guru. What is it now? Are you different now?
Right.
No, it's not different. So my mind's completely different for the better. And, thanks for the safe space to talk about it.
You're welcome.
I've been doing this for a bit, and I haven't talked about it in depth like this a lot, at all.
Well, we scratched the surface when we went to lunch. And, so I knew that you were on the same frequency as I was. Dude. And so that's why as soon as you were like, "Oh man, love the podcast, love what you're doing," I was like, "Well, you need to be on here."
I was like, "Yo," and you were like, "Hey, yeah." And it's crazy too, because I remember that lunch, and it was a little while back, but that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was when I was first seeing like signs of things. I was like, okay. The other thing is, don't look for signs.
No.
Don't look for fucking signs.
No.
Just don't look.
No. Live in the present.
Live in the present. You're cultivating. The biggest takeaway I'd like to give to people, you specifically. Like, I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
This is just me, because I knew you would listen to me. I was like, Danny, let me tell you all this stuff I've been doing. The biggest thing to take away, you can ignore any of the spiritual stuff. You can ignore that humans have been doing this for thousands of years. You can ignore that it can be explained by quantum physics and neuroscience at this point, right? I brought up quantum physics twice. The quantum field, infinite possibilities,
yes,
until atoms are observed. Observe your state.
Dual split experiment.
Observe your state. make sure you're just in the state you want to be in.
Right.
Right. If you're constantly in lack or constantly in, feelings of, they're out to get me and stuff like that, clearly, like, a lot of that comes as adults. A lot of that comes from, previous trauma or fight or flight's been fucked up in some way. And I don't, that was for me too. That's, so I know I know this isn't a one size fits all anything for anybody.
No.
Nothing is.
No. Well, unfortunately, humans still have the instinctual fight or flight nature, despite the fact of all the other things that have been implanted in our heads, non-evolutionary wise over time.
We as a society, we move too fast.
Oh, yeah.
We still have the Dunbar number is 150. That's about how many names and faces you can keep in your brain at any time. And that goes back to when we were tribes. And if the hunters went off to hunt, the people that stayed in the tribe, somebody showed up that wasn't recognizable, they go, who the fuck is that guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the Dunbar number. So we are still a very tribal stoned ape.
Yep.
Terrence McKenna's stoned ape theory. The waters receded, the apes got out of the trees and found mushrooms.
Yeah.
Right? That's what was the trigger. That was a catalyst. That's that theory. Stoned ape.
Yeah. Okay.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Which does make sense,
It's possible.
It is,
From what I hear, allegedly.
It's also possible that we have no idea what's happened in the history of this planet, and so many other civilizations have built themselves up technologically more than we have and killed themselves, and it's all vanished off the face of the earth, and that there was space extraterrestrial interference that actually mated with the humans that were here, which helped create the reason why everyone is so actually as conscious as we are now. And there's so many
a lot of theories, man.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I love talking. We're gonna have to have a whole nother podcast, just the weird shit, because that's my fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's just. I mean, the Sphinx has water erosion on it.
The what?
The Sphinx. It has water erosion on it.
I think I did hear about that. Actually,
they date the Sphinx back. There's about a 10,000 year, 5 to 10,000 year difference between when they say the Sphinx was built. And then further back was the last time they had a lot of rain in the Delta. So there's this it's older than you think it is.
Right.
We don't know shit about older civilizations, and we just don't know.
We don't know.
And we like to think we know. But.
Well, they have gatekeepers that prevent us from really knowing anyway.
Yeah, man. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And look how easy it is to just be I'm not want to get into it, but to look how powerful it is just to be someone of stature on TV and just say things, and then millions of people go, that's true. And it's like, no, it's not.
I watched a video yesterday, and it was a guy who was explaining how anyone can be made to believe what someone wants them to believe. And he had a screen put up, and he had a red circle and a blue circle. And he goes up and he goes, one of these circles is bigger than the other one, even though it may not appear that way.
Right.
Now, by a show of hands, who thinks that the red circle is bigger? Hands. By a show of hands, who thinks the blue circle is bigger? Hands. He goes, okay, they're both the same size. Mm-hmm. Everyone in this room automatically thought that both circles were different sizes, and that's how easy it is to manipulate the population.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a thing years back. I feel like it was on like NPR or something, but they were talking to some senior ranger for like Yellowstone National Park.
Okay.
And to this day, they still have issues with bears getting into garbage cans. And the question came up like, well, it's the 2020 whatever, like how is it difficult to, and his answer, not even fucking joking, just his voice was just like very matter of fact. He goes, well, there's a lot of overlap between the smartest bears and dumbest humans.
Ooh.
So they're unable, it may have changed by now, it's a few years ago, they were at that point had been unable to create a garbage can that a bear couldn't get into that every human could open. Just to give you an idea of where we are as a people.
Right.
So yeah, we're gullible.
Mm-hmm.
We're fallible.
Mm-hmm.
Our culture is in society has been the people older than you are in charge, and then you get older and go, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Oh shit. So
you're exactly right.
So you do it yourself, and that's what I've been doing. And Come with me, bro.
Have you, speaking of the Sphinx, have you heard of the Boogosphere?
Oh yeah, man. I've been watching Boogosphere stuff. I love it. I love. Even as a child, I was like, we'd have to be pretty fucking cocky to think it's just us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just dumb.
Oh, yeah.
We can point out at this point countless planets that what we know about life, where we consider planets habitable, we can see them. Like, so we know they're there.
Yep.
So just those, which we've confirmed could sustain human life light years away, just based on where they are from their farthest star and the habitable zones that these planets live in. Still no.
Right.
I mean.
Oh, there's more suns in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth.
And it's constantly expanding.
Constantly.
It's nothingness constantly expanding, but it's nothing but also everything, because everything is in space.
Yeah. That's right.
So.
That's right, man. But the Boogosphere, they found it in Colombia, metallic sphere that dates like 12,560 years when they predated it, which predates what they think the pyramids are. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating. It's got all these writings on it. It's some of it's been translated to, I don't know how you translate whatever the hell's on it, but some people are saying that it's talked about some cosmic events that have happened and some that are like supposed to happen. And Dr. Stephen Greer, the big ufologist, he's been doing a lot of research and spearheading funding a lot of money into researching and running tests on it.
I like to think disclosure is getting closer.
Yeah.
Just because there are, like, what was it? It was a couple years ago. Shit was so bad just in the country. The fucking Navy, it was in front of Congress. It's all public record. Yeah. And they're like, there's a bunch of shit out there. Here's some video, and we don't know what the fuck it is. But everybody was like, don't care. Eggs are $6. Like, that's what was going on at the time. And so...
And it's unfortunate that AI is now here because I can't watch any UFO videos anymore. That used to be my best pastime. Let me look up the videos of the most recent UFO sightings.
So many are garbage. I got really excited. I was the most giddy I had been in a long time with my NHI interests, non-human intelligence interests. Fucking all the drones and orbs.
Oh yeah, that whole thing in New Jersey.
God, there was one video I found. I went the other day. A lot of them are down. I couldn't find them anymore. I was like, damn, I should have been saving these.
I have a hypothesis about that, but
there was a video. It was Jersey, the shore, and it was an orb. It wasn't a drone, right? And the orb is flying, and there's a fucking army helicopter fucking chasing it. There's two, I think, and they're like, and I'm like, that's crazy. I get to work. A buddy of mine at work is he's in the military.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey. And I showed it to him. And I go, how fast is that helicopter going? And he goes, that helicopter's hauling ass. And it's could not keep up with it. And I was like, I like this one. This one's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what I think back then in Jersey, all those orbs were showing up. I think the drones were the government. Yeah. But they weren't going to admit that they weren't the government.
I think the drones were the government.
They were the surveillance. They were trying to monitor to make sure that nothing was happening with the orbs. But the orbs were what the real phenomena was.
The orbs were the phenomena, not the drones.
Exactly right.
They just kept saying it's in this direction.
Yes.
We're using drones. We don't know what the drones are.
We don't know what the drones are. Exactly right.
Exactly. No, you don't know what the orbs are. My favorite. There was that one that I loved that it was early in the wave of sightings around that time, and there was a drone that went up to an orb and like kind of got really close to one, and the orb kind of floated to it, and the drone goes pop and falls to the ground and fucking takes off. And I was like, dude.
Well, what about these ufologists that are going out and like calling the orbs to them? Have you seen those videos?
I saw one dude. There was one
that's mind-blowing.
There's a news piece from years back. There was, I think it's out in California. And they're like, oh, guy at the park that everybody knows claims to call aliens and da-da-da. And they're sitting there and they're like, well, how do you do it, sir? And he sits there and he starts doing what he does. And then one shows up and the camera catches it and the newscaster's like on the phone. They're like, we don't know what the fuck just happened, but he did it. And like, I'm just like, fuck off, y'all. Like, we don't know anything.
No. And there was one lady who was out filming herself and she's like, look, I'm going to show y'all the same thing. I'm going to show y'all how I can manifest an orb to appear. And she said, she just started calling Jesus' name. And the orb popped.
It's all energy, man. And that's, no, we're not going to go there. That's another hour. I was going to start talking about interdimensional gateways with DMT and
Oh, we can
all
start
that good
talking about
stuff.
that. I mean, because you have what is it, the red laser theory, where like the people that took the DMT and looked at the red cross lasers on the wall, they saw the code to the simulation. You know,
I understand where it's weird too, because like my belief system and the things that I truly believe now, especially now over the last few months, like none of them line up 100% with a lot of these theories, but there's things in the stuff I believe that can explains to me other stuff, right? You know, it's all energy, it's different frequencies. We're just not on that frequency yet.
Right.
You know, I like the theory of those are us
from the future,
or just higher us, just kind of keeping an eye on shit. I also like the theory that we're just a zoo. That's a fun one.
Yeah, or a farm. We're
Earth and we're about to get canceled.
When Bob Lazar was on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said that the two craziest things that he ever saw while he was working for the government was, number one, a humongous file about religion. That was the first one.
Well, that's the yeah.
And the second thing was that in the highest capacity, humans are viewed as containers. We're just a farm.
Yes. I said earlier, again, this is one of those things that I believe that's like a piece of it is you and I are having a conversation, but I believe like our collective consciousness are part of the collective consciousness that is experiencing what we're experiencing. That's the other piece.
There's a shift in consciousness that's happening on a grand scale right now.
That's the piece that connects us to.
That's right.
That.
Yeah.
Man, I love Bob Lazar.
So interesting, man. Everything I've ever seen with that guy, I'm like, I want to watch more.
I've been watching stuff with Bob Lazar for years.
But people keep trying to discredit what he's saying because they're like, the timelines don't match up. He doesn't have and it's like, why would he have any kind of background credentials if it was all
He was at Area 51.
Yeah, dude.
And one of the best descriptions I saw, who he's talking about when he got there, because they wouldn't let any team. He was talking about this. They wouldn't let any team work on any like completed piece of anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in a hangar, like this was his hangar with his team, is working on one particular piece of machinery. He's trying to reverse engineer that. Doesn't really seem like anything, right? They said one day all the hangar side doors were open and he can look down, full craft, just craft and pieces of craft. And that was when he was like, oh, okay. That was one of the things where he was like, shit, this is a thing. I like Bob Lazar more than a lot of the other guys because Bob Lazar was a private scientist.
Right.
Whereas I have a hard time.
Let's see where you're going to name drop here.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not going to say the people's names specifically because these are guys I don't. I'm going to make a generalization.
Okay.
I do not inherently trust someone who comes and says, I know we have aliens because I've worked with the CIA for 20 years. If you work with the CIA for 20 years, I don't fucking trust you.
Right.
Immediately.
You are king of PSYOP.
Yeah, we're done. I know enough. You can read someone a list of things the CIA has done and admitted to later.
Yeah.
That they'd be like, shut up. Like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, this is how the world works.
Yeah.
This is how the world works with borders. Right? That's a bordered world.
Yeah.
We're doing that shit. But I always liked Lazar, mainly because he was just, when he finally came out originally years past, he got shit on so hard he disappeared.
Yeah.
And the other guys, like the ones that get shit on, they just put out another book. And I'm just like,
A lot of those people are part of the PSYOP too. You got the people that are like, oh, there's like 31 Atlas. We can kind of start talking about that.
I haven't been keeping up with that at all.
But people are, they're like, there's this premonition, or not a premonition. There is just fortune or whatever that has been told that like there is going to be a false flag event with like an alien invasion that is going to happen, right? And so like it has been foretold for years. Like it's something that I've always heard about, and like now here we are. 31 Atlas is 0.000% a comet or whatever because of how it's acting. And
it changed color yesterday.
Changed colors. It's got light emitting from it. It's got components that are nothing like they've ever seen, and there's just no possible way that this is just a comet, and the way it's moving, and it's like, okay, could this be that?
Yeah. So I do. I know. I said earlier, like I'm one of those people that has no problem saying I'm not informed enough on the topic to have an opinion. But this one, just here and there. So I did catch some people that are like, oh, they're coming.
Right.
We don't know if they're hostile. I think that's a human response because we're so used to living in a bordered world.
We're used to fear mongering.
Where foreigners are hostile.
Keep me scared, Daddy. Keep me scared.
I mean, look what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not going to get there because then I'll start yelling.
Yeah.
So all of these firsthand accounts, at least one video I've seen of military people that work at nuclear bases saying we're readying missiles. We've countless China here. During the Cold War, we activated missiles a lot.
Yeah.
And so many firsthand accounts of, senior military people running these bases of ships coming by as they're activating and then readying the missiles, hovering over the launch pad of the site, and everything just shutting off and completely shutting down. Yep. So, me being an optimist and me being it's going to be wonderful. I like to think, especially with all we're preparing as a country, we're preparing our nuclear arsenal talk we've got the last few days.
Yes.
I like to think that
we're moving all of our cabinet members to an undisclosed location.
Yeah, everybody's on military bases right now. It's weird.
Yes.
Look over there. Don't look behind the curtain. I like to think that it's more of a like they know this is happening, and they're like, hey, let's go. We gotta fucking turn off their toys again. It's just been so long that's happened. Everybody's got fucking HD cameras in their pockets now. I believe more. My belief in non-human intelligence has only grown over the last so many years because we've been able to get footage.
Yes.
A lot of footage.
Right.
My belief in Bigfoot has dwindled completely because none of that shit's coming out now.
It's true. Bigfoot's an afterthought. Loch Ness Monster is also an afterthought.
A Loch Ness Monster is a whale dick.
Yeah.
Do you not know this? Have you not looked up what a whale dick looks like?
It doesn't look like the black picture of Loch Ness Monster.
I kind of want you to Google it right now, but like Loch Ness Monster whale penis. It's it goes out, it curves.
I'll save the people.
Save the people. Google Loch Ness whale dick. Don't do it at work. So I like to think that they're coming down. Just turn off the fucking things. But the Bigfoot thing, as soon as we had high def cameras, no more pictures of Bigfoot.
No, true.
And Patterson tape was bullshit.
Yep.
We've already debunked the fuck out of that.
That's the one with where you had the dead Bigfoot.
The Patterson's the walking one that we all know.
Oh yeah.
That one was debunked so hard. But I'm more interested in aliens than.
Of course.
Because it's.
No, I will say this, and I was actually saying it this morning. I probably wouldn't be mad if some crazy terrorist person came and flipped the switch of a big electromagnetic pulse and just wiped off every single piece of technology on this earth.
Well, we gotta keep in mind there's technology keeping people alive, which is good. But like the shit that's fucking with us, like social media. And I've worked in tech for almost 20 years, and you got to stop them.
Yeah,
the big tech companies are just it's too much, man. Like I thought it was the way for the longest time because I was like, well, it's funny because I was like, oh, but computer jobs, like those will always be needed. Not necessarily.
Right.
Not anymore. Now I'm just like, oh shit. So I won't have anything to do with AI. I just won't. I did see it. My favorite take I've seen about AI is AI inadvertently proved to me the existence of a human soul after I've seen art without it. AI art is, Malcolm Gladwell's Blink, like we just know, right? Because of just everything we already know.
Right.
Like that's just how the mind works. We know all these things. So, you and I are, how old are you? How far apart?
37.
How far? So we're not that far apart, but like we're from that like last generation that knew life without the internet.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So us and then everybody after us, basically, they know the internet to a certain degree, right? So we can look at an AI image and go, fuck that.
Yep.
That's AI.
Yep.
That's AI. That's clearly AI,
Yep.
you know? So the idea that AI art is so, you can immediately tell that a human being with a soul and experiences and a perception of where they are in the moment, you can tell that's not there. So
yeah, you can tell it in physical art, but in music made by AI, you can't.
Yeah,
That
I don't like that at
is
all.
the worst. I was sitting right here working on something when a friend came in and was telling me, "Have you heard of Soros or something?" Not Soros.
Oh, is that what that is? I kept seeing the name.
Sonos. Yeah. And you literally just type in 3 keywords, and it'll come up and write you a crazy song. I typed in death metal, and something, and it wrote the most badass death metal version around those 3 words that I typed in. And I looked at my friend and I said, "This is the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life."
I haven't listened to much of the. Dude, I was talking to somebody last night. We were texting, and she's like, "Oh, what have you been listening to lately?" And I started pulling stuff up, and I was like, "Shit, none of this is from the last few years."
Yeah.
Like, here's from '99. Here's from a few years ago. Like, I was like, "Shit, I haven't been listening to music like that."
Yeah.
Like I said, it's weird because like I love music. I still love DJing. It's one of my favorite things to do. I like to decorate time. That's what music is. It's decorating time. You know, art decorates space. But like, it's one of those things I've been having trouble with because it's one of those, previous things that would fulfill me, that feeling so fulfilled, I don't need it.
Right.
I still love it.
Mm-hmm.
That night at Smart Bar changed. Like, it was another like life change moment. It can heal. Music can heal, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it, clearly.
Right.
Like, I do my best to stay away from any AI generated stuff. There's a game I recently started playing, getting into, like a tabletop game that they're completely committed to no AI in their artwork, no AI in their writing. Like, they're just like, and the fact that we have to come out and say that, as any creative has to come out and say that now, is fucking crazy.
Yep.
You know, you and I are also the generation that grew up on fucking Terminator 2. So like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. I mean, we all know what the end game is here.
Yeah.
And,
we got to make the shareholders.
I've thought about musical artists all the time, because now on Spotify, they have so many that are just like AI. That are like, this is an artist or whatever. Now you have to say, not AI. Like, if you're like a real artist, like this is humans that made this.
Yeah. Spotify is just, come on, Spotify.
Yeah,
Get your shit together. I switched to YouTube Music years ago.
Yeah.
YouTube Premium, and Google's also a big giant dumb company.
Yeah.
But I don't miss Spotify.
No.
The cool thing is, old DJ guy, all of those fucking bootleg mixes and stuff that are on YouTube can be accessed through the YouTube Music app.
Oh, cool.
Like, through the app. So I'm just in my car, I'm like, play me that fucking mix that Laurent Garnier I heard at Sonar in Barcelona in 2013. I'm like, yeah, we got it. That sort of shit. Yeah. I like being able to do
awesome.
that.
Yeah. How much do you spend on YouTube Music?
Like $10.
I'm just saying. Spotify's like 15 or some shit.
Yeah, I rolled into. I got Google Fi years back, and it's all rolled in together. But yeah, man. I hope the aliens are coming.
Yeah, me too. We'll see. I mean,
here's the thing.
Careful what you wish for, I guess.
No, because here's the thing. If, let's say, what is it, 31 Atlas? Is that how it's? I kept saying 3i Atlas whenever I was reading stuff. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's 31 Atlas, but I could be wrong.
Atlas, our boy Atlas, right now.
Yeah, your boy.
Once he gets tired and drops the world, we're all fucked. Anyway, is that the guy that held the world up?
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, it was.
I haven't taken mythology since high school.
Mm-hmm. But it was, Atlas.
The thing is, going back to one of the things we were saying earlier, like, let's say they are coming and they are hostile.
What are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
I
don't know either. Okay. I mean, they could come from above in space. I know 71% of the Earth is oceans. 71% of the Earth is water. 96.5% of the water is oceans. and we haven't even scratched the surface on exploring the
We
ocean.
don't
So
know.
a lot of them could be coming from internally too. We don't know.
They are.
Yeah. And that could be, that probably is two different civilizations of people. Maybe the inner Earth is all occupied by people who did inhabit planet Earth before and graduated inside.
Dude, I hope there's chuds. I hope they got chuds in the underground. I'm so open to everything now.
Yeah.
And I always have been to it for the most part. I was never one to, you know, I ended up at the rave at 15 years old. Like, that's not a kid that was like down with whatever. I wasn't shopping at Abercrombie with everybody else from Jesuit when I was 15. I was found the rave. One friend from Jesuit was like, I think you should come check this out. And
the rest is history.
Yeah, man. And I wouldn't change a single thing.
Right.
Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt.
Right.
Kurt Vonnegut, like, just, that's my favorite one of his. Like, everything's been beautiful because life isn't happening to me. This thing, why did this happen to me? No, what can I learn from this?
That's right.
What I'm learning from this is bettering myself.
Yeah.
And I've not been at more peace ever in my life than in this moment. Just, I don't know how to explain it, man.
I mean, you can't. It's like putting words to emotions. It's very difficult to do. And, you know, we were taught when we were younger, we are men. We must keep our emotions in check. We must keep everything inside because we are the ones that will be running the family and blah, 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 blah. So you can't show vulnerability ever. And so it's taken us a while to be able to like allow our sensitivity to really like come back and be vulnerable and do something where I'm broadcasting to all my friends and people and whoever else wants to watch, just like real thoughts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just something that is a tradition changer, generation changer.
Exactly. I mean, it's so important. We tend to, and I think that's why podcasts have become so popular over the last few years, is because that, you know, back to what we were saying, we're still a tribal people, right? The storytelling has sort of become podcasts or become...
Yeah, because movies that come out are shit. Nobody can make a good movie since
we don't sit around a fire. We don't sit around a fire anymore and be like, what's the old guy got us tonight?
Where's the wisdom?
We don't do that anymore. And I think that's where podcasts were really kind of took off, especially the last few years. Like they've been... It's only gone exponential, like how many podcasts there are.
Yeah,
no offense.
No, it's true. It's true. And guess what? I was skeptical about doing all of this because of that reason. Like the whole thing's so saturated, but at the same time, that was like a limiting belief in my head that I was just like, okay, this is what I like want to do. Who the fuck cares if there's 1,000 of them out there?
If it's one of those, it's a good example for the manifestation thing too is like you're not going to manifest a successful podcast, but you can manifest being a successful person. Yeah. And the things you're doing will be successful. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like not a specific thing.
Yes.
But like, I think what you're doing is great, and it's been awesome to fucking do this.
Yeah,
I haven't had a super in-depth conversation about what I've spent the last 6 to 8 months to anyone.
Well, unless you pre-plan for a conversation like that to happen, you're not just going to go out in a social setting and be like, hey, let me drop this.
Oh, there's been a few times with like super close friends that we could have. Yeah. I was just like, nah, they're not ready.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so what else you want to hit? We're fucking 2.5 hours. Look at us.
Have you ever had any history with like any kind of like satanic rituals or any kind of like black magic or anything like? Have you ever been in a setting with people out in some type of environment and something like that has like happened and you were able to experience anything like that? I've never experienced anything like that, but I've done so much research and depth into like dark magic and all that stuff just to try to understand the bigger picture.
I've never seen any of that stuff. I've never experienced anything like that. Big horror movie guy, worked in haunted houses all growing up, same. Like, you know, practical effects and things like that. So, but that stuff never got me. Like, cause that to me, cause that's not what, that's not what Satanism actually is. Right. Satanism is probably actual, like the Temple of Satan. I think it's the Temple, Satanic Temple. One of them. The one that it's actually awesome and has like civil rights attorneys. And every time a courthouse tries to put up the 10 Commandments out front, they go, all right, we're going to put a statue of Baphomet up front.
Right.
Those guys. The other stuff like the Aleister Crowley or the, I guess, not even LaVeyan Satanism, right?
We can get into that whole thing about Aleister Crowley working for NASA and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Man. I'm not going to say those things didn't happen. I'm not going to poo-poo any experiences people have. But my only thing I really say about that is knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
Sure. There's probably some way to connect to something else on some frequency.
Yeah.
Satan, I don't know. Satan's from the fucking Bible, dude.
Right.
Like some human wrote about that.
Right.
And that was just more of a...
Well, hang on. You're telling me that all of the things that Jesus spoke, Jesus never once mentioned Satan.
Did he?
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Because Satan, either. I think our Catholics' upbringing was bad. I feel like, correct me, I don't know. I don't remember Jesus talking about Satan. I know maybe talk about evil, but then again, we have to remember that thing was fucking edited a million times.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I think from all the research that I've done, every single time it would always lead to black magic.
Yeah, and I find like those people like,
and I always stopped.
Whatever frequency that is, just like, I don't know that frequency.
Creating the pentagram and sitting in it and lighting the candles, chanting the incantation, making some type of frickin' entity appear who is giving you knowledge about whatever. That was all what Aleister Crowley did. Yeah,
that's how they came up. That's where chiropractic comes from, right?
No.
Chiropractic's not a real medicine. They don't go to medical school. The guy that came up with the practices got them instructions from a ghost at a seance. This is all true. Look it up. Chiropractic is not real.
Really?
If you have a good chiropractor, you're getting a decent massage. Yeah. Just go to a massage therapist who goes to school that is more medically appropriate than chiropractic. Chiropractors aren't MDs. You go to chiropractor school.
That's interesting.
You're like, shit, I go to chiropractor all the time.
I used to. I used to get my back aligned all the time. You
didn't align shit. There's no medical. There's no. What do they call it when they break? There's a name for the cracking sound.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, it's a sublobla or whatever. Like, that's nothing. I've had so many doctors that I know just be like, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Go to a good massage therapist.
Yeah.
And if you need one, I got one right down the street, a good friend of mine.
There you
go. But yeah, that's one of those things. It's being inspired. It's being Moses in the burning bush and da-da-da. Whereas none of that shit's any different. It's just, what is the topic? The topic for this, that like the black magic and the whatever, the satanic cult type shit, was their focus. That's the frequency they're trying to get on. Does that frequency exist? Probably. In the quantum field, is that the frequency? Are those the atoms they were focusing on at the time? Probably.
Yeah.
So that was their belief system. And that belief system is no different than my belief that I can sit here and live in love all the time. That was the state they chose to occupy.
Yeah.
Now, was it real? What is real? Like, that's where
it was real to them.
It was real to them. So like, that's where I am with that. Some of that stuff is just like,
there was like an old Oprah interview back in like 1986 or some date. I think it was 86, but she's literally interviewing these people on panel. Can't find it anymore, by the way, on YouTube. It's like gone.
Nice.
But she was interviewing these people who lived close to or lived next to like this Jewish couple who ended up being like very strong Satanists. And like, she was like, the woman was talking about how she was molested, how she witnessed like baby sacrifices and stuff. But it was these normal, everyday, good looking type citizens that you never would suspected. And so that always runs in my brain, cash free. It's like, there's people I'm sure that I know that I'm very close with that are doing crazy shit that I would be like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I don't know if it's anybody you're close with, but maybe people you know for sure.
Dude.
I don't think you that's not the type of vibe you cultivate, but maybe people you know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes back to we talk about so much these days. We talk about wearing masks, and we talk about a lot of people use masks and, their outward projection of themselves for safety. And some people use them to hide.
Yeah. To conceal.
That's the difference between, that's when you hit like sociopath.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, like shit is wild.
Yeah, it is.
Shit is wild. So it wouldn't put it like, yeah, sure. I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's no limit to how deranged the human mind can get.
Yeah.
And
well, if it's that comes down to good and evil, right?
Good and evil.
And good and evil is the ultimate two laws. You can be bad but not evil, but you can't be evil and not bad,
right?
Or you can be good, like Freemasonry and like deep state stuff, and like, oh, there's now this crazy guy in some country calling himself an Antichrist, and it's like,
lol. Is that the guy that wasn't eating?
I don't know. He literally looks like a villain.
Yeah.
He literally looks
man.
like it.
It's crazy too, because like, also keep in mind, this is the first time in human history that we know of that we've all been able to share our thoughts with the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
This shit was happening. This kind of shit always happened.
Right.
We're all connected now. We contain the entirety of the world's knowledge in our pocket. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still wrong about things all the time.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time.
Like, so yeah, there's evil out there, man.
Yeah,
but I don't believe humans are innately evil. A lot of hatred, racism, xenophobia, that's all taught. Kids are a blank slate, man. You got your kid. Did your kid come out knowing how to wipe its ass and all that shit? No, man. The kids don't know shit.
My kids still don't know how to wipe her ass.
Like, fucking, I'm not that great at it some days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, everyone's out there. If you can imagine it, it's probably out there.
Yeah.
That's why I hate the question. Am I the only one no. I don't care whatever's after that clause. I don't care if it's I'm the only one that ever liked this song. Or I don't care what it is. No. The answer is no.
Right.
We are not, we're having completely individualized experiences, but we're not having unique experiences.
Right.
It's the human condition. We're all, at its base, it's survive, eat, procreate, take care of your family. Like, that's the base.
Yeah.
I think you take care of your families later.
Right.
But survive and procreate, it's like lines 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody's out there, we had decent educations for New Orleans growing up. We've taken history classes. Fucking evil people have always existed.
Yeah.
But it's also, evil is also relative.
Elaborate on that.
Warrior traditions.
What were my traditions?
No. Warrior.
Oh, warrior.
Sorry. I got a list, but I'm from the West Bank.
Yeah.
So warrior traditions like the Mongols, Japan in the time of, Bushido code and things like that. Chopping someone's head off, conquering someone, those things weren't boiling someone alive in oil,
Mm-hmm.
Those things weren't evil. They were part of what the culture was doing, and the culture was expanding, for the Mongols, or for Japan, it was under the guise of law, That's why it's an honor to die, get your head chopped off by a fellow warrior, because those things aren't innately evil. Not a big Tom Cruise fan, but The Last Samurai is one of my favorite movies of all time. Man. But there's an exchange with that when he first meets Katsumoto. Is I saw you cut that man's head off, and he's like, I was honored to cut that. That's cultural stuff. Yeah. So you bring somebody in today. Let's say some general was like, "Hey, we caught somebody on TV and they cut his head off." We'd be like, fuck that guy. Right. Then culture, conditions, society, different.
Right.
So,
and if you're dishonored, you.
Yeah. So, evil is relative.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not saying it's not there.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not there. People do evil shit.
They do.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's.
But I feel like if everyone would just take a beat and everyone would just say, okay, instead of feeling so much rage and so much hate and so much anger towards the situation, maybe if I just if we just talked, if we just talked, you know, like there's no reason for me to hate anyone for having a different opinion than me.
Yeah.
I don't hate anyway.
I don't hate. I do my best not to hate. I haven't had a full-on hate in a while.
Yeah, that's good, because you seem like you're in a great positive space. Why would you want to interrupt any of that?
Yeah, and what is that? I think it's a Buddhist saying. I could be wrong, but it's like, hating is like drinking poison to spite your enemies.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Right.
But, there are definitely topics that I'm like, if you're on this side of this, we're good. I don't need to talk to you.
Right.
But, healthy, respectful, civil, I'll listen.
Right.
I've gotten really good at listening and then just leaving a conversation instead of debating. Because I'm just like, why?
It's not worth my
energy. I don't
energy.
get my heart rate up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm going to try to do that.
Right.
But, yeah, man, it's communication, like proper, respectful communication can just solve so much stuff.
It can.
And it's...
Yeah,
fuck.
I know. Oh, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to touch on that we're going to talk about?
I would love to do this for hours and hours, but I think I talked for a while.
I think so, too.
And,
I love you, brother.
I love you, man.
And I appreciate you coming and talking. You shared a lot of things with me that I'm definitely going to think about and have to research. And
yeah, man.
And
I'll send you a list of books and shit.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to have to do this again and touch on a lot of other crazy shit that we didn't even get to.
Give Melissa a hug.
I will.
I appreciate you, man.